Thanks for being with us here on your Friday. And we are into the part of the Idaho legislative session where it can be hard to track what's going on. Rapid fire action from the committees all the way up to the governor's desk. And this week, the state of Idaho, they made some history while also looking to change the course of history. Let's take a look at some of the notable ins and outs from the week that was. We'll pick up the week on Tuesday. A first look at a new Medicaid reform bill passing a House committee that day. The latest version has a broad work or volunteer requirement within it, 20 hours a week. Previous versions also included a provision to repeal Medicaid expansion as a cost-saving measure if certain requirements weren't met. This latest version does not. Critics say that's an improvement, but they still have concerns.
This is not about requiring people to work. It's about requiring people to navigate very extensive paperwork proving it. And people run afoul of paperwork. And then when you have all these working people kicked off of Medicaid, they turn up at hospitals, they have no insurance. We're right back where we were before Medicaid expansion, with rural hospitals feeling the strain, going out of business, passing on costs to all those that are insured.
Supporters believe this one will make it to Governor Little's desk, a move to save future Idahoans money. Thursday, later in the week, it passed the full House. It's now in the hands of the Senate. Wednesday, a bill to make the firing squad the main method of execution for the state of Idaho for people on death row. It passed the full Senate 28-7, sending it to the governor's desk for his signature. It previously passed the House 58-11.
Idaho had a failed attempt recently to carry out a lethal injection due to an inability to establish an IV. So, Senators, I view the firing squad as a more humane way to carry out executions for those on death row.
The firing squad is currently Idaho's secondary method of execution. Before all this can go into effect, even with the governor's signature, the state of Idaho needs to build a firing squad facility at the Department of Corrections. Thursday, Governor Brad Little signed House Bill 40, the $253 million tax relief bill, which will reduce the income tax rate from 5.69% down to 5.3%. It also expands the tax exemption for military pensions and gets rid of the capital gains tax on precious metals. House Speaker Mike Moyle sponsored the bill.
Yay. How do you feel about that? I feel really good. That's a good thing. I think that's the biggest income tax relief in Idaho history. It's a good start. We need to keep doing it.
Lawmakers also tackled an interesting question Thursday. What if you seriously disagreed with an evacuation order during a flood or a wildfire? Should Idahoans have the right to refuse for whatever reason? Well, a bill to accomplish that is now waiting for action from Governor Little. House Bill 97 allows people to refuse evacuations orders, but it requires them to accept all risks and reimburse rescue costs if their choice ends up being one they regret and they have to call for help. One lawmaker spoke from their own experience for an endorsement.
Several years ago, we were in the middle of a forest fire, a huge forest fire, and we stayed and protected our ranch, and we saved all but one building. So this bill does work, and we knew the responsibility that we had by staying.
Finally, on Friday, a proposed amendment to the Idaho Constitution that Idahoans would get to vote on in 2026. It would designate English as the official language of the state of Idaho.
English shall be used in all public proceedings, public documents, public institutions, and all other public acts and any public institutions in Idaho. Our current administration signed an executive order doing this for the entire United States. So we're just in line with what's going on.
Again, the proposal needs to clear both the House and Senate, and if it does, it would end up on the 2026 ballot. And that's a legislative wrap. For an in-depth look at all our reporting from the 208 in the State House this week, you can check out the KTVB YouTube channel and KTVB.com. You can also watch previous episodes on demand, the 208 in its entirety if you ever miss one, on the KTVB Plus app. You can find those apps on your smartphone or smart TV.